Um, I will think harder, I will work harder, I will fix it immediately, worry more, seek certainty. That's what we do. We think that we will do what it takes to solve it. But the irony is that um, the moment we most need a pause is usually the moment we think that we want one. So we can deny ourselves because we might think that this is not the time to pause. This is the time to be more productive, because pausing can feel unproductive. It can feel like we are avoiding. It can feel like you're losing momentum. Yet, if we rely on neuroscience, then it suggests the opposite, because there is a myth around immediate problem solving, and a lot of us have been conditioned to believe that when a problem appears, we need to solve it immediately. But this assumes, there's an assumption that the mind is in a condition to solve it. Now, imagine if you're running and you want to find your way. Now, would you try to read a map while you're running? Probably not. You'll first pause, look at the map, try and understand, and then continue with the journey. So yet emotionally, many of us try to solve complex problems while we are sprinting, and that is counterproductive to what we are trying to achieve, because not every problem needs immediate thinking or immediate action, immediate intervention. Some problems, and I would say a lot of problems, actually first need a regulated nervous system. Now, we've seen this when, say, we are to attend to something, or there is a problem, there is a situation. mm, One thought will appear, and the thought could be, what if this goes wrong? Then immediately following that, if it goes wrong, then this will happen. And third thought, if that happens, this is going to happen. So we can find ourselves not really responding to reality. We are often responding to imagined future scenarios, and we can all be guilty of that. So thinking about, how often does your mind try to solve problems that haven't happened yet? Do you try to solve problems that have not happened yet? The brain um, is wonderful, right? The brain experiences um, imagined threats very differently um, from how conscious reasoning would deal with the same imagined threat. And the brain starts to believe that this is real, it needs attention. It also starts preparing the body. So the body begins reacting as though preparation is required, spiral accelerates. And we've seen that, this is not just imagined, because we would see that under times or periods of extreme stress in our lives, we could be feeling a lot of body ache. Why do we feel body ache? Because the body is scared to fight, and muscles are tight, they contract. So if the body stays in chronic stress, then this contraction doesn't ease, and therefore the body feels tight. It feels there's a lot of tension. There can be a lot of pain in the legs, pain in the shoulders. Now, we've been talking about, therefore, that when we start feeling or coming into a place of overwhelm or a place of stress, it's not, it doesn't flip, that from we are fine until then, and it's just after that moment that everything changes. It's a gradual process. It's just that we realize it much later, when a lot of damage is already done. So, um, so in this, like today, we've just been trying to identify our own overwhelm signals. Now, some people can feel it more physically. Some people can feel it more in their thoughts, and some of us feel it emotionally. So, if you think about it, like how do physical signals of overwhelm appear? They can appear as headaches, uh, tight shoulders, pain in the body, fatigue, shallow breathing. Mental signals could be looping thoughts, inability to prioritize, inability to focus, catastrophizing. And there could also be emotional signals. So these could be irritability, anxiety, helplessness. So again, asking yourself, what is your earliest signal? Not the strongest ones, but earliest ones. Could be a few. Making a note of that. What are my earliest signals? Now, there is wisdom in stopping. So we can tend to think that if I stop thinking about it, if I stop working on it, I am ignoring it. There can be guilt with not working, and somehow our culture also it glorifies a lot of work, it glorifies self sacrifice. We say, oh my God, she works all the time or he works all the time. We feel like it's something to be aspired to be congratulated. We all want to become that person, we all want to stay busy. And it feels weird if you're not busy or if you're not doing something, you're not learning something. So, um, is it possible then to stop all problem solving for 5 minutes? Because if we've seen that, when something overheats, your phone overheats, what helps? Would it be using it harder or letting it cool down? Because pause, as we understand it, is not avoidance. It's often preparation because uh, whenever we need to prepare for something or prepare ourselves, prepare even our minds, our emotions, we need to sit with it. So the pause is not really giving up, it's giving your brain that time and what it needs to be able to help us. Now, even if you rely on spiritual wisdom traditions, they they discovered something that neuroscience has confirmed, which is that if my mind is disturbed, or I will see the disturbed world. If my mind is settled, I will see with more clarity. So the purpose of the meditation was not merely to relax; it was to get clarity. And what is clarity? It's the ability to see something for what it is. It is the ability to see um, the truth of something, and it allows us to see without immediately reacting. There's so many quotes about taking a pause. One is uh, between stimulus and response, there's a space. And that pause is what helps us find that space. Now, if if say you in a stressful situation or when you were overwhelmed, you would find yourself reacting to something, or you said something, did something that you later felt was maybe disproportionate or you didn't want to. Now, therefore, thinking what would happen if you recognized overwhelm, say 30 minutes earlier, 3 hours, or a day earlier? What would happen? You realize that you would probably suffer less, you would react less, you would think more clearly. So if you've noted, just going through your earliest signs of overwhelm, and this tells us that when we start realizing that stress is creeping in, that something is beginning to bother us, trigger us, um, take us out of our normal selves, and we're becoming, we are feeling it in the body, or we can feel it in the mind, we can feel like it's coming. So what we need to do at that time is to just retreat, take some time, 5 minutes, and create a genuine pause. So in that time, we intentionally cut ourselves from those thoughts that work, and we give ourselves those 5 minutes to breathe. And that itself can bring us back to more clarity, or just feeling less charged before we do something, or we say something. So now, to integrate and to practice what we've explored today, I invite you again to take a comfortable position wherever you are. You can be sitting or lying down, closing your eyes, and just taking a few deep breaths. At your own pace. And then bring to mind something that's been creating pressure. Now, notice the urge to solve, and the urge to think, the urge to figure it out. And for the next few minutes, you can tell yourself, I am not solving this. So silently repeating to yourself, for the next few minutes, I am not solving this. For the next few minutes, I'm simply breathing. And then connecting with your breath, feeling the breath in your belly. Staying with the breath. You can also imagine placing this problem on a table. You're not throwing it away or denying it, simply just setting it down. Asking yourself, who am I when I'm not actively dealing with this? And then feeling sense of clarity. Clarity is not something we create, it's something we notice when the noise settles. So allowing yourself that time. Who am I when I'm not dealing with this? What am I like? And then beginning to wiggle your toes and fingers. And before you open your eyes, just extending, sending gratitude to body, mind, and breath. And then when you feel ready, slowly opening your eyes. Now it's time for any questions you might have, anything you might want to share. Um, and and therefore, we try to explore the signals, the signs that tell you it's time to pause. So then if you begin to notice your own overwhelm signal, just remembering that it doesn't need solving or analyzing, fixing, it just needs a pause. And that's what you can do. So tomorrow, Dr. Aisha will be conducting Mighty Champions. And after that, we'll be continuing on the theme of breaking it down and solving. And we learn how to take a big problem or something that feels enormous and reduce it into something that the brain can actually work with. So, thanks for being here. Thanks for participating, showing up. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. Have a good day, good evening, wherever you are.